Hi, Ashish. Welcome to this conversation.
Hi, Ashish. Thank you. Thank you.
To set the stage for the listeners and viewers of this conversation, I would like to begin with a bit of introduction. So, Ashish is the founder of a company called Leafy Leather, which turns agriculture waste from corn and cotton and such crops into a premium leather like material. When the conventional leather is made from animal hides, Ashish has found a way to turn these crop waste into a usable textile. And what makes his story interesting is he is a chemist who has remotely innovated this while being in the US and partnering with the research centers in India. And that's the story that's quite interesting. So I'll let Ashish take us through the story. So to begin with, Ashish, when was the first time you confronted this problem of crop waste and what did you do next?
Yeah, of course. It started a long time ago when I was a little. I do still remember. So I come from a farming background. My father is still farmer. So I grew up as a son of a farmer and have seen fields, been visited at fields. So during my growing up, I have seen every year. So we grow cotton every year. I watch cotton stalk and other crop residue being burned on our field and also in surrounding fields. And that smell, that haze, and that's smoke. It always stayed with me, even though I was little. But I could see, we were burning a waste and creating a lot of pollution. So it always stayed with me, and I always wonder if there is a better way to do, treat this waste and make something out of it. But at the time, I didn't have any idea, and I was still, little, and educating myself to all of these things, right? So later, fast forward when I moved to US after my, bachelor degree in India, I saw here the sustainability was like it was the whole community was shifting towards sustainability, and it was like a mainstream movement here, and people like discuss everywhere, like even at my work, people discuss about it. All consumers demand it, and all of the companies around here they market around it. That they say this is sustainable, this is this many percentage, and blah blah blah. So the market around it. But so and that sustainability discussion, been our dinner time or dinner table talk with my wife. We, I do remember we've been talking about that for a while, and then all of a sudden she was like, let's do something about it. And she started doing research and see, how it is in other part of world, especially in India, because we come from India, right? So she was like, let's see, how we are doing in India. So she started doing research and she found out that it's not that widespread in India. It is there in big cities, small few circles, it's there, but it's not widespread like here in Western countries and other countries around here. So she said, let me do more research. So she'd been discussing with her family and friends and other people. And so during her conversation with her sister Manisha, who is co-founder of Leafy Leather, right? So she's also fashion designer in Surat. So she had a similar concern. She told my wife, like, I'm in fashion industry. I've been seeing this trend that all this like cotton fabric is being replaced by all non-biodegradable plastic like material, like polyesters, nylons. And she's like, it's almost disappeared. That real cotton is almost disappeared. It's hard to find real cotton anymore. And she had those concerns, like this plastic is replacing real cotton, and that feel is not there. The creativity is different now, and also the big issue is the landfill. When it's like clothes, any fabric, you use it, and it's not long-term use. We all know it's fashion; it changes very frequently, and then whatever is not in trend goes to landfill. And if this is a plastic, it's not going to biodegrade at all. So she had that concern, and we had this concern. So when we combine our perspective and thought like, let's do something about, create something that is, more biodegradable, and also, we can replace and use it in the fashion industry as he wants to use, some material. So we combine our perspective of, what to do about this. And that's how our, action started. We started doing research, asking around and see, if there are alternative, if we can make something out of it. So that's how it started. And
Okay. And what was the initial stage like? So you started exploring what could be made out of this material. What were the things that you saw out there?
yeah, so first idea, even before talking to Manisha, I had some other plan of doing, something with a cotton stock that I talked about. I did do some research and saw that, there are some articles about it to make some, wood items, even pallets, and but that require, quite a bit of, effort, in the sense, big facility, more laborers and larger investment, and I was not ready for it at the time. So, but when I talked to Manisha, and he's already in Surat, which is, Silk City, or you can call it textile hub of India, right? So there is opportunity to do something in textile field or fabric field where, yeah, Surat can provide some of the resources, and in her experience, we can use her experience as well. So that's how we, started evaluating fabrics and then see if we can make something in fabric. But cotton is already there, right? If we want to do something, it's, cotton, but people want to go with something different. So we said, what's the next after fabric or, cotton? What's next? So she said, we use also leather in our fashion, designs. In even like clothes, we do use patches and all those kind of like cottons, right? So she said, let's do more research in that field and see, how widely it is used. And we already know it is widely used. When used in wallets, handbags, you name it. Like in your home, you will find at least five item made from cotton. Anywhere from shoes to head. You have top to bottom or bottom to top, whatever you want to, evaluate. You will find one leather item at least, right? So then, and it's true because that's one of the widely used, material worldwide. It's not only in India, worldwide it's widely used. So we picked that material, and that does not have that much, innovation at the, at this stage. There is innovation, but still growing, right? So we pick that and see if there is something we can create similar to that feel and look, and that's how we pick the material. And
Yeah.
also it got also our research also showed there is something ongoing in that field, so there is opportunity to build something in there.
And did you by then already know that you want to use the residue of cotton crops?
Yes, so as I said, we did our research during this research period. We saw, there are sustainable bags, plastic, and not plastic, but they are like more paper bags, right? Made out of their, waste. So some materials was already, is there already, right? So we know, like, it's possible to create something from the waste. And there are some companies in the world, especially, I'm in US, so I have more visibility surrounding here. And there are a couple of big companies around me. So I inspired from them, because they are able to make it. There should be a way to do by myself as well. Having this chemical experience, I could also, innovate or, do something in that field, right? So I knew it's possible, and that's why we pick. Also, that's another reason we picked this material.
Yeah, 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 makes sense. How was your mindset when you were thinking about all this? Because you were in the US, the waste was lying in India. Were you already thinking that you're going to have to set up something in India, or did you have any other ways in which you could make it happen?
Yeah, so it's already, widespread here. There are lots of companies working on it, but I saw opportunity in India. It's not that widespread. Also, I don't have the fashion industry or that background. I do have technical expertise in creating this kind of material probably, but not the industry experience. And if I backtrack a little bit, so I also looked into the data, how much leather we are producing as India for world and how much we are exporting. So we are like 13% animal leather producer of whole world. And we produce around 31,000 crore of synthetic leather. So that's a big market in India. Okay. So we are exporting all over the world, right? So okay, or people in the world, they use our material and good, that's fine. But we produce larger amount of waste in India while processing this material. So if I start with animal leather, there are like more than 3,000 tanneries, and we process around what I think 700,000 ton of animal leather every year. That means we are creating a lot of waste, and especially the main concern, and I think it's everywhere. And I think there were also bans in Kanpur because of such a thing in some of the tanneries. What happened was, and what is currently still happening is, from this process they generate around 20 million liter water waste every day, and that ends up untreated sometime into river or landfill or in farmland. So, and we know how harmful it is for crops, fields, humans, right? So that was concerning to me. And I wanted to do something in India. That's why I wanted to do something in India in first place. I want to, we can keep processing it. We provide leather, that's fine, but I want to minimize this and make some impact. That's why I picked India. That's the second reason. I didn't have industry experience. I wanted to do something in India. That's why we set up. And also, thirdly, we did our research and found out that there is a research institute in India who is already working on this technology. So we started talking to them. Of course, it's remote, right? So I had to do remote calls, long calls, different time zone meetings. I remember like late night meetings. Like when there was a first call with this institute, it was around 12:30 or 1 a.m. here.
Wow.
Because that's the only time could work for them. And it's an institute, so they have their own time. They have their, fixed time they can work around, right? So they could give us only, that time frame. And when you're new, they are not that flexible. Once we started working with them, you get the flexibility and more time. So, but so long calls, and a lot of conversations, sharing ideas, more research from their side, our side. So remotely we had to work out a lot of stuff. It was challenging. I won't say it was not. It was challenging. We had a lot of setback, but I think it was worth doing in India because of the reasons I mentioned, rather than bringing something that is already here. So that's why.
Yeah. To paint a picture of this, can you tell me the timeline of when this remote collaboration started?
Yeah. So actually, the conversation was ongoing for a while within my wife and myself. Then we started acting in last March 2024. We started actively looking into this and see, what's out there, and discuss with different people in India and stuff. So in June, July timeframe, we came across that institute is doing such a research, and they have a core technology already somewhat developed that is potentially can be scaled up for commercial use. So we started a call with them. I remember it was mid-July. We had a first call with them. We started evaluating their process, putting all those paperwork in place because it's a patent pending process for them, right? So they cannot disclose everything. So started working with that in July, and then we did our MOU, everything in October. So during the time frame, we already registered our company as a Leafy Leather, private limited, because that was a requirement. Of course, everyone knows about, you need to go through certain steps, but that was a requirement. So we registered our company in June, started talking to them in July, did MOU in October, and then we started working on procuring all the equipments required for the scale up. And it's because it's new technology, so there are no on-the-shelf machines out there. We had to customize it, each and everything. In March, we actually started our, we received all the machinery, set up our plant, and we did our first trial end of the March with, new machineries, commercial scale, setup. Of course, there were failures. Things don't go as you plan, but yes, you have to keep trying, right? So we made a lot of efforts to get to that stage, right? We didn't want it to give up, right? So we kept trying for a whole month. April, May, we've been trying, and then finally we got to the material that, material that we wanted to create. So now since June, first week of June, we started manufacturing commercial material that gives us 1 by 1 meter sheet, base sheet that is, made with 100% cotton and finished to look and feel like leather, as like luxury leather.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right now.
I want to understand a bit more also about the product. But first, I'm very curious about this process that you took of doing something while being in the US, because I can imagine that, there would have to be like small changes in proportions of the things that you mix, and then there would be some results out of it. And then I can imagine the Research Institute in India would talk a bit about these results. And then from looking at those results, you would think about, okay, you do some calculations, you feel, okay, maybe we can increase this, decrease this. And then again, they would do something and then come back. So wo- how how was this process in terms of your own experience?
Yeah, that was the experience, I would say. So I will also mention, I'm working in the biopharmaceutical industry. I'm working with lots of virtual vendors or companies, mostly like working on outsource model. So we do outsource everything. So I do have that experience how to tackle those kind of, issues, if there are any issues, and how to manage that work. But given that experience, it was a little bit easier for me, but also it's not that easy when you are in different time zone, especially, right? So we outsource, but mostly in a similar time zone or very close to hours, but it's like totally different time zone, right? So that was challenge. So they do something, and Manisha was there at their facility, their lab at the time when we were doing research. So they do something there. Manisha's background is not chemical, but she tried to understand, from her perspective, also gain knowledge of the process, right? So they try something, in smaller scale, to see how that material look like. They, show me or the videos. And sometimes I ask them to also send me those because video, I cannot tell, how it looks from the video, right? So I have a lot of samples, full bag of samples right now, like, this many samples I have from my initial days to now. But it's blurry, so let me change.
Yeah, maybe you can indeed.
Let me remove blurry background. So this many samples I have, from my initial days to at this point. So every time they make something, if something looks promising, they send me the sample. I evaluate, give my feedback. Also from the process perspective, chemical composition perspective, there are not a lot of chemicals. There are less chemical, but whatever chemicals are involved are bio-based. They are derived from plant or, in some extent from anything from the plant, not from the animal at all. Okay, all of them are from multiple plants, and they are very minimal. less than 1% or around 1% are chemical. So we use less chemical in our base process. So working, creating something nearly 100% biodegradable shit, it's it's a complex and challenging task. And they had, this institute already had most of it figured it out, and they had already, a process for smaller scale based on, their research. But it still needed a lot of fine tuning because it was end of the day lab scale, right? So yes, so they do something, they create a plan, they work on it. I give my feedback, and then, if it doesn't go, as we plan, we work on the details again. I do my research on chemical side, and they do theirs. They still, come back again, do the, plan, experiment again. So that happened for about 3-4 months actually. Manisha had to travel back and forth for those trials because they cannot allow us like whole time doing that research because they have a lot of activities ongoing. So we had to back and forth travel to do this research. At the same time, think about the, scaling it up and all those like multiple activities ongoing at the time. But
Yeah.
it was quite a hassle. And,
Can you, hello?
yes, can you hear? Yeah, your
Oh,
video
yeah,
was frozen for a second.
no worries. Can you show me the first sample that you received?
Yeah, let me show you. That was not that great, but
Yeah.
good start though. Was good start. Um, so what I have here is finished material. So this is with coating, and this is baking fabric. So this is very thick. It's like more like cardboard than the leather. So that was our very first material. So we did a lot of optimization on this one. We did, process,
So this was the
refinement and stuff.
first, this
Yeah,
was the first. Okay.
this was the first one. Yeah, yeah. And then now it looks like this now. You can bend it.
Wow.
Nothing happens to it. Lots of like a, see, it's a,
Amazing.
yeah. It doesn't look like anything different than leather. It is. You feel like leather. It looks like leather, and yeah, it's from the completely from the plant. It's a corn
Beautiful.
husk and banana stand waste. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So this process took about 3 to 4 months, you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I see. And during this part where you were, repeating all these experiments and going back and forth, were you, was your attitude more optimistic, more curious, or were you, what was your attitude or mindset like?
Yeah, when you talk to any chemist and when you tell them like you need to create something, from your, chemicals or drug, like I'm in the drug industry, right? So when we work on different different modalities, we are very excited. And something similar happened to this one. So this is like, for me, it's a chemistry, okay? Even though we create this, right? For me, it's end of the day, it's how it is, its composition, how it everything come together and make something beautiful like this, right? So we very excited. And Manisha was very, very excited as well because she wanted to, she was concerned about that, plastic, and she wanted to, work on something that is more, responsible, right? So she, you know, even though she didn't have any background on chemical, now she knows almost as as much as I know about the process because she's running this process right now on the facility. So that's how dedicated she was and she is right now. We do, of course, there are lows and ups and lows, right? And sometimes, things don't work out. It's human nature to be impatient or, some disappointed and frustrated at a time. But always, we not only Manisha, my wife, and there are other members of Leafy Leather. Uh, they all, come together, work on the problem, and motivates each other. We look at the bigger picture. What is happening today, it doesn't matter. Look at the bigger picture. What is our end goal? This is where we want to reach. It doesn't matter how long it takes, and that's what we wanted to do. That's what we said to each other as well. Like, focus on big goal and don't worry about today. We'll figure it out. So that is, yeah.
Amazing. The final product looks fantastic. Like you said, just like leather, being somebody who doesn't come from textile industry, I definitely cannot make out the difference. While you were building this, did you already have parameters like we want this material to have A, B, C characteristic properties in terms of maybe aesthetics or performance, durability, etc.?
Mhm. Of course, yeah. So during these trials at research institute, there is always a benchmark. You have to you should at least be closer to the animal leather. Synthetic leather is easily replaceable, I would say, because it's most of it is plastic material, and it's very flexible and very thin. So it's their property is not as good as animal leather in terms of the strength and flexibility and all this stuff. So we had animal leather as our benchmark. We know it's difficult or maybe impossible to achieve that benchmark, but we wanted to be as closer to that standard. So for any leather, there are few tests you need to do to make sure your leather is durable, and it's there are mechanical testing as well as there are chemical testing. So mechanical testings are mostly common and easily doable to evaluate, quick evaluation of your material. So that's what we did initially. It's strength, when you pull how stretchable it is, whether it breaks or not, how much weight you can, put on your products when you convert your products. So there are some tests where we had to do hardness, stress, tear strength. You don't want it will look like paper, right? So you want it to be as much as flexible and durable as leather. So we did those mechanical testing, during that time frame. After creating our final formula, which we are using now, we are still doing more testing, chemical testing, but we did our chemical testing as well to see where we are in terms of the toxicity. As I said, we use less than 1% of chemical. So toxicity and all of the chemicals we picked are non-toxic in nature. So because there are major concerns everywhere about some of the chemicals used in leather industry, especially chromium, which is widely used in animal leather. We don't use chromium at all. Chromium is toxic chemical and it's banned in most of the country. So we don't use that. And so we are still doing more chemical testing to comply with other countries standard, but we don't expect it to come negative because we don't use any of those chemicals. But yeah, so we did mechanical testing to start with, and now it's going through more thorough, detailed chemical testing just to show it's free from any of the concern elements.
Yeah. And in terms of aesthetics, I think you wanted it to be looking as close to as animal leather as well, right?
Yes, yep. And the animal leather is also when they process animal leathers or animal skin in the tannery, it's more or less like our base sheet, which is 100% plant based, and then they do a top coat on it. They do color coating to look something like this, so even animal leather, they do apply this coating, and we are doing the same process. So from that point, we are doing same process as animal leather, but process before that it's very different, and that's where the big difference is, because the top coat is about less than 2% most of the time. So that's not a huge issue. if I'm replacing animal leather or synthetic, which is 100% non-biodegradable, I'm replacing with 95% biodegradable, it's a big win, right? So yeah, but it for aesthetic as well, right? You need to make sure your coating or colors, whatever you apply, it sticks as good as it sticks on the animal skin or your synthetic base, right? So there are few tests also for those, in-use test, roughness test. There is a tape test. You put like duct tape on it and try to peel. Like lots of tests just to show how good your coating is. Coating is sticking to your material, and is it comparable? And we did all those tests as well.
So currently, about like 95 to 98% of this material is biodegradable, you would say?
I would say 90, about 95% is bio content. Biodegradability, the real biodegradability test is still ongoing, where they put, small pieces of our leather. So our research institute is still doing it. They did do this study before, and it showed, 98%, but now it's a commercial process, right? So we want to make sure we do this test again and again with different changes we are making. We are still improving, and we will be improving all the time. So they are doing they are putting small pieces like less than 1 inch, 1 square inch into compost, and then they are exposing it to a real environment to see how long it takes to actually biodegrade. And that's a long process. It's going to take few, it's not like 1 or 2 days, because you don't want your product to be biodegradable for 1 or 2 days. That's not good product. Right? So it should biodegrade, automatically degrade and disappear, but it should also be long enough to use that product, right? So this material is from almost like now 5 months. It looks same as I received, so there is no issue with that. So I can see making product and using like use case, there won't be any problem. And it's already proven. It's not something we are bringing different kind of technology. There is a different technology out here. They their material is being used in industries as well. So it's proven it can be used, but their process versus our process are significantly different. They claim sustainable material, but they use about 40% of PU kind of material. So they do have one product line actually, which is 90 or above, but that's how company market. They have one product line and market that they are sustainable brand. But they are, when you look into that, they are not actually.
Yeah,
uh, so yeah, so that's where we are right now. We do have I can claim 90, about 95 bio content, and some of the bio content, come from corn husk and banana stems and other bio-derived additives, right? Uh, may take longer, but they are bio-based material. So,
right.
yeah.
And since you mentioned banana stem and husks, is it something difficult logistics wise to collect the waste?
So there is a reason why we picked actually this too. There is a story behind it. So the initial technology was built by, developed by institute was on cactus waste. And cactus is not that widely available in India. There are a few places, if you go to Kutch in Gujarat, you can find it. Yeah, in some areas you can find it, but you have to go to that place to procure or get that. And also there is a special kind of cactus you need to use, otherwise it will take longer to make it ready for your process. So we initially thought about it and we started working on it, but then we thought, why we waste our time in something that is that could be expensive to us and also end user. So what can we do? What are the alternatives? And we know India is the largest producer of banana, so it's number one, right? So easy to get banana stem anywhere, everywhere. And I knew there is banana fiber out there, and it's widely used anyway. So that was one. Second, Manisha mentioned that corn stalls are everywhere in Surat. The sweet corns, right? And this is like one thing that I was researching, and I came across this tagline: everyone thinks about corn, nobody thinks about husk. So he said, oh, let's do something about the husk. So there are data from different research showing uh, leather kind of material made from different material. So there is a pineapple based, there is apple based, there is mushroom based, there is algae based, there is a cactus based. There is also 100%. It's not marketed yet, but there is also research on 100% banana as well as 100% corn husk. So we looked at the different properties of the different material, and for us, we wanted to have good strength and flexibility. So these two materials could give us that, and also the availability is abundance around us, easy to procure. Go to one farm and get lots of stems that last for a long time. So easy to get this material, and it's cheaper for us as well as end user. We didn't want to make our material that expensive that people feel like it's luxury item, right? We want it to feel like it's similar to animal leather. Uh, but yeah, of course, it's still not comparable to the synthetic, but we want to bring it down at some point. I think as scale is bigger, gets bigger, right? We can get the cost down, and I hope there are more people working on this innovation now, and in future, any company, our company or other company, bring a process, in an industry that is more efficient and cost effective, then we can bring this cost significantly down. But at the moment, it is more comparable to animal price. But yeah,
Okay. So currently you have a commercial plant set up which can help you produce how many per month or per day?
yeah, per day we can make a 30 meter at the moment, and which is easily expandable. But because where we are currently, we can produce 30 sheet, but it can make as many as you want. It just you have to expand the plant. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's
yeah,
it's like a modular system where you just add more things and the production capacity increases.
right, yeah.
Got it. And what is your next step looking like? So who would your ideal customer segment look like?
Yeah, I mean, so the application is limitless, right? As you know, leather is everywhere. Handbags, as I mentioned, all of those accessories, and even like furniture, car seats, and it's everywhere, right? So the application is limitless, but we are currently targeting fashion industry, and the reason for fashion industry is the I think the demand is strongest in the fashion industry, and that is the most fashion industry because use and throw, right? It's a lot of fashion comes and goes. So we want to target that for one of that reason, and second reason is that's where the I think strongest storytelling is, because that's the only way you can I think fastest way you can spread this. If you go to a different industry like car seats and furniture upholstery, it's gonna be in limited places and limited people will have access to it. This will have widespread use. So that's why that's our entry point. Of course, we want to by fashion industry mean any brands who are in the fashion industry, even though they are currently using animal leather or synthetic leather, they are all our ideal customer. Of course, you want to start with something, smaller or bigger, it doesn't matter, but you want to start with something so smaller. And then end goal is always to go with big brands, because that's where you can make a big impact. If you stay with smaller brand, your flow will be smaller. So you want to go, with bigger brands to spread it all over the world. So our ideal customers are, I think all of us, but big, all the brands who want to do products from sustainable material to lower their carbon footprint.
And what do you think these brands customer would think about such a material? Have you tried talking to people? and to see the reaction?
Yeah, but a similar reaction that you had recently when I showed this material, right? When I show it to my friends over here, they never experienced such material before. Even when I touched for first time, I never experienced this kind of material either. So my reaction was like, wow, is it really a plant-based? Can we convert something from plant to something like this? Is it possible? Is it leather? Yeah, am I, dreaming? Or it's something like that. You are surprised by the outcome, right? So most of them, we didn't tell them initially. We just told them like, what do you think about this leather? They said, it looks really, really nice. And then we, told them like it's made from plant. And then they were like, wow, it's beyond their imagination. They were not expecting that it is from the plant. So the actions were absolutely, mind blowing from people around us. And our one challenge, they definitely, most of the people don't know about this product in that detail than the people who are actually working on it. So the real challenge or real feedback you get from the people who actually work on leather. So when we share our initial sample, this sample, nobody wanted to work on our sample because this looked like, more like cardboard than the leather. And yeah, also their reaction was like, don't tell me it's leather. Okay, it's not leather at all. And also there is another story behind it. When we first went to, a finishing vendor, nobody wanted to actually work on plant-based material. They don't call it leather, they call it material. They said it's a disrespect to the leather. I said, okay, it's maybe, but we want to replace it. Whatever you want to call it, that's fine. It doesn't matter to us. We want to replace, so call your leather with something more sustainable. So it was very difficult to find someone who can work on smaller scale, brand or samples, and also different kind of material that they never worked on. Eventually, we had a few partners who agreed to work on doing some more, spending more time and doing research and applying right formula to it to finish it. But they gave us initial feedback and they said, you have to make improvement. You have to make improvement. So it was not only our mechanical, testing, but we also show it to them, and they're like, it's not easy to do or finish on this one. You have to make this, changes. You make changes, and after they finish, another feedback we get from is end manufacturer, meaning the finished good manufacturer, whoever makes footwear, purses, wallets. We went to them and told them like, is it possible to convert product from our material? Right. So they also gave us a lot of feedback. We improved on. So this all went into that, our trial period. But yeah, we did make some bags out of it, and then that gave us confidence. And recently, when we sent our brand new sheets to our vendor to work on, they said, "This is perfect." And they were like, "I cannot now tell that your leather is different than what we are working on."
Wow,
So
that's amazing. That's such a good
yeah,
feedback.
right. So now we are comfortable that getting this kind of reaction from goods manufacturer himself or herself, right? It's amazing. It's amazing. Totally,
So
it was like.
are there already products in the market that are made with this?
We do have our product in India. I don't have a product here right now, but yes, there are products not from our material, but from others materials are already out there. They may not be, same bio content as we do. We may have, our bio content is higher than, most of the company. So yes, there are products out there in European, US market. You can find it easily. I don't know how easy to find in India. There may be few out there, but not as widespread.
And what about leafy leather? When do you expect a few products to be out there?
It will be out soon in a month or two. We are working on few products. At the moment, we are doing wallets. We are making handbags, a laptop bag, as well as one of our actually client who is working on making footwears. from our sheets. So he will share picture with us once those are converted into product. So soon, I think it will be up in on our website. We are building new websites. It's going to come on our website as well. All of those stories and products.
Amazing. Such an exciting time, right?
Yeah, it is. It is
Nice.
exciting time. Yeah.
So where do you see Leafy Leather in 10 years?
I mean, definitely you don't want to stop here, and you want to keep growing, right? And we want to do the same. We want to keep growing. We want to currently, as I said, we are using minimal PU leather to give it same look and aesthetic as animal leather. We want to replace that with a bio alternative, and we are working on that as well. So very soon, we want to also replace that and want to make nearly 100% like finish sheet, nearly 100% biodegradable. That's our goal in next 10 years. We want to be more than 99%, let's say, to very close to 100% biodegradable. That's one our goal. Second goal, we want to be India's globally recognized brand, who has a collaboration with all the big partners, and it's as I said, that's the only way to spread this movement and this awareness right all over the world. So we want to be globally recognized brand working with big partners, big brands. That's our goal for next 10 years.
Yeah, I love your ambition. I love your vision. It's amazing that you're still aiming for, 100% biodegradable. It's always an interesting balance to strike between such consumer-centric products because you also do not want the product to biodegrade by itself. You want it to last, but then at the end of the cycle, you do want it to biodegrade. So there is a good balance to be struck between these two,
Yeah.
stretching extremes.
Mhm.
And it's amazing that you're still aiming for 100% biodegradable
Yeah.
material.
Mhm.
Finally, I would like to ask you, what would your tips be, suggestions be for a budding innovator or entrepreneur in this field?
Of course, there are a couple, at least I can think of three, two or three at least I can think of. One is start with problem. I have seen, especially, Manisha is in Surat, my wife is also from Surat, and I have some relative in Surat. I've seen the people go with the hype, they build hype rather than they building on the, real issues. So I would say start with the problem, find the problem that needs solving, right? For us, it was farm waste, plastic waste, animal cruelty. These are the, inspiration, or those are the problems we wanted to solve, right? So start with those. So that's one tip I could give. And second, be patient. When something like you are working on something like this, like sustainability, it's not a 1 day or 2 day, kind of thing. You make something out, in a couple of days, right? It's not that short. It takes time. Sustainability, innovation, it's gonna take time and time, and it's gonna improve as well. So be patient yeah, for those kind of innovation, and you're gonna fail for sure initially, and you'll fail. You'll have a lot of setbacks, and we did a lot. We had a many, from initial research with working with institute to scaling up. Scaling up was like that was lot of setback, like you finding right vendors and right machineries, customize then fail, you recustomize the machineries. Lot of trials, lot of investment in R&D. It's still ongoing, but we are not giving up. So I would say be patient, persistent is the word carries you through. So be patient. And lastly, I would say, and this is well known and everybody knows, but I'm going to reiterate that dream big. Even though your idea is small, you're making a small dent in this big issue, still matters. Because once you tell your story to other, they will inspire. They will do something in that field, and that's how you scale this kind of awareness. It's if by myself one company is not won't be able to solve this issue at all. We're gonna need a lot of people. So I would also say the last fourth one is don't think yourself as a other company as a competitor. Think them as a collaborator because it's very big issue. If I talk about this animal leather or synthetic leather industry, we have few companies still in working like similar to Leafy Leather working on this leather or sustainable leather. Even if we are all fully functional and produce leather, we won't be able to even replace 1% of leather, animal leather that India is producing, even 1%. So it's that big industry. So if 1% of 13%, it's not one, so in short, what I want to say is don't think other as a competitor, collaborate, connect with other, share stories, and make a ecosystem rather than thinking that others are competitor. And that's how you're gonna make change.
Amazing, amazing. I love this fact that you mentioned about going from competitors to collaborators and the problem being so big that we all need to work together to do something. So I love your perspective on that. And thank you so much, Ashish, for joining this conversation and sharing your journey. Is there anything that you would like to finally end with?
No, I just want to. I would like to thank you. I thank Mission Sustainable for giving us this opportunity to share our story, and a platform like you guys have would help spread awareness in this field, and this is well needed. And thank you for doing that. And this is I think first step you are taking and we are taking to make a real change. So please keep doing it, and thank you again for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much.